to do is makeup, and then it's just some old clothes, splatter blood on them, rip them up. So easy to do, and it's scary. So if you like being scary on Halloween, this one's perfect for you. It's so much fun to do, and if you're anything like me and get scared like of zombies easily, you're gonna freak yourself out like the whole night if you ever see yourself in a mirror, which I did pretty much all night. I would like go to the bathroom and then I'd come out and I'd be washing my hands and I'd look up and I'd be like, oh my god, I like forgot I looked this bad. But I got a ton of compliments when I went out in the cities, and a lot of people were like, oh my god, I love your cuts and stuff. So hopefully this helps you guys out. It's very easy to do. So yeah, enough of me chatting, and now let's get into the video. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing is I'm just starting out with my normal face makeup on, so this is stuff that I've had on all day, and then basically all you're going to do is start putting on shadows over it. So I'm just taking a red and brown shadow mixed together, placing that underneath my lower lash line or underneath my eye, and then I'm taking that same color, adding a little bit of gray and brown onto my lid. Basically, you're just going to build up these colors. Your favorite colors are going to be red, brown, grays, and blacks for this look. So as you can see, there's no precise way that I'm really doing this. You can be totally creative. Just kind of create that dark look around your eyes to give that kind of sunken in look. Also put it by your nose because that's going to give a very decaying look as well. Then I'm just going over it with some darker shades like black and dark smoky grays underneath my eyes as well. But make sure that red, and even if you want to add greens, will stand out a little bit more. Next, I'm just going to be taking a large fluffy brush and I'm just going to be going over the contours of my face with a dark gray shadow. As you can see, I'm kind of dragging it down a little bit to give it more of a skeleton look. But this is basically how you're going to do, like how you do your bronzer every day if you contour. It's going to be the same, just using grays and blacks. Next, you're going to be taking a larger fluffy brush. You're just going to be picking up a little bit darker of brown shades, and you're going to place that over the gray and kind of fluff out the color a little bit. It's just going to give a more natural decaying look instead of such harsh lines. Now you can't forget the nose, so I'm just taking a flat top shader brush and I'm picking up a gray color, and I'm basically going to be outlining my nose. As you can see here, it's self-explanatory once you just watch me do it, but you're just going to kind of slim down your nose to give you that kind of dead, decaying look. And then with a little bit larger of a brush, you're just going to kind of smudge that out again to give a more natural look instead of such harsh lines because you want it to look realistic. Okay, so now you're just going to take a lighter color foundation than your skin tone, or you can take a light colored makeup or face paint from the Halloween store, and you're basically going to put that on the highlights of your face is what, you know, I usually call it, but you're not highlighting. It's just going to give you a more dead appearance if your skin tone is lighter in the areas that are not shaded darker. Also, don't forget to put the lighter color makeup over your lips. It's just going to give a way more dead appearance because you don't have any blood flow to your lips when you're dead, and it just looks way better. So next I'm just taking that same shader brush and I'm kind of going over those dark areas to make sure I didn't lose any of it, and then as well underneath my eyes with some red, brown, and greens. Now, if you wanted to go more of a subtle zombie, you could just leave it as this, but I'm going to show you guys how to create wounds. So you're going to need liquid latex and a tissue. So I'm just taking one sheet of tissue and you're basically just going to separate it just to thin it out a little bit. And shout out to Michelle Fawn for teaching me how to do this because I would not have known without her. So now I'm just kind of ripping up the tissue, making jagged edges, and I'm going to put one by my mouth. You can put it wherever you want to, and you're going to have 3 pieces total. So now with the liquid latex and preferably a sponge, because you don't want to ruin makeup brushes like I did. So use a sponge to apply the liquid latex wherever you want your wound to be, and then you're going to take one layer of the tissue and place that on there, and then go over it with some more liquid latex, kind of going over it really messy. You want the wound to look natural, so you don't want it to be super straight lines or anything. And then after you have some more liquid latex on, you're just going to keep adding layers until all 3 layers are onto your face. Now once you have all of your wounds laid out, you're going to let it dry. You want to let it dry for probably 5 minutes, I would say, before you start opening it up. So I put one on my neck, as you can see here, and now I'm going to show you guys how to open this up. Now, this looks a lot scarier than it actually is, so it looks a lot worse. I'm cringing watching it, but I'm just taking an eyebrow tweezers or an eyelash tweezers, whatever you want, creating a slight hole in that, and be very careful because you can actually cut yourself doing this, so be very, very gentle. But like I said, it looks a lot worse than it actually is. It doesn't hurt or anything. You're basically just going to take, I used an eyebrow scissors because it was the easiest, and I'm going to slowly cut that as wide or as long as I want my cut to be. Work very slowly for this part. You don't want to accidentally cut yourself. Like I said, it looks a lot worse than it actually is, but I promise you guys this is not that hard. Now once you're satisfied with how your cut looks, you're just going to go again with that same makeup that you used before, and you're going to place that over the tissue just to give it more of a realistic look. Very lightly though, because you don't want it to look too fake. Then to get those colors into it, I'm just going to start by taking a red and a brown shade, placing that closest to the cut, and kind of sweeping that on all over the tissue, again with browns and blacks, focusing it by my mouth and lips as well because that's where I put my cut. You want it just to kind of blend in all nicely to the colors of your skin. And then I'm going to be taking a gel eyeliner and placing that into my cut just because that's where it's going to be the darkest. Then with some zombie black blood, I'm going to place that into the cut as well. It's just going to give a more realistic look. And then of course you can't forget the real blood, so with a stippling sponge that I bought at the Halloween store, I'm just going to place blood wherever I see fitting. When it comes to the blood by the wound, make sure you focus a lot of the blood closest to the actual opening, and then go ahead with the stippling part all over it just to give it, you know, that kind of like decaying, bruised look. For my hair, I just kind of threw it up into a ponytail, and with a brush I kind of just ratted it. You can do whatever you want with your hair, just make sure it's messy because you're a zombie. And bam, you're done. You look awesome. You can go out like this, but if you want to be even more creepy, add some all white contacts like I did here, and it just gives you a way more intense zombie look, and you're really gonna scare people.